Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another round of Master Phil in your corner with your host, Master Phil.
Hey, what's going on?
How we doing?
All right, great. Welcome, everyone. This is Master Phil with Master Phil in your corner and my partner in crime, Dougie Fresh Friedman,
Yes, sir.
here at the Undefeated Media Studios. And, you notice that I don't have my laptop in front of me today.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of going off script a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, one of the things I wanted to kind of wrap up the end of the year
Mm-hmm.
is on a positive. Let's go on a positive.
Nice.
There's so much negativity out there. COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're gonna say that.
Oh, yes.
Omicron. Potential lockdowns, vaccine mandates, triple mask.
Mhm.
Plastic bags.
Triple mask.
Who knows what's going on, right? I feel like Wendy's should offer like instead of the triple burger, the triple mask. So let's, but then I was thinking about it, and I was seeing some of the things that have been going on since I'm back at the college. We're teaching in person for some of the students, and January we're supposed to go back full time. On campus, and I've noticed that there's some really positive things going on, and I noticed this one theme. I teach people how to defend themselves, how to become stronger, how to become more fit, and I do it at the college with those courses, and I also do it privately. I do it online, and a couple of things hit me.
Yeah.
I was training one of my clients, and he's a contemporary, so that means around my age. And the thing is, he came in to me about 6-7 months ago, and I noticed he's pressing some decent weight with relative ease now. And he's going up and up, and I'm able to push him up incrementally. And he goes, "Wow, yeah, I feel really good." And here you got a guy who's in his late 50s, and he's improving his strength and mobility. And he's noticing it, and he feels really good about it. And he's saying how great this is, how he's developed, how he's gotten stronger, more fit, looks better, can go hiking, can go skiing, can go enjoy all these things that before were just laborious for him. And, it hit me. Why are we limiting ourselves? I mean, if he hadn't come and started training with me, guess what?
He wouldn't be doing those things.
Exactly. He wouldn't be stronger. He wouldn't have this great mental attitude. He wouldn't be enjoying his life with his son and his girlfriend, all kind of stuff. There's so many positives to this because he's challenging himself. Listen, and I'm not saying you have to challenge yourself by going and running a marathon or climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, or competing in the CrossFit Games. Just get stronger.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Go out there, swing a, as far as what I do, swing a kettlebell, hit a heavy bag, learn to do it properly, learn to enjoy these things, because not only are you releasing your endorphins, helping to stabilize and improve mood, but you're also making your body healthier. And so your body and your mind are now improving, right? And they both help each other. The thing is also, I'm looking at some of the students I teach because at Bergen, what we do is we have high school students. They come in from this applied technology high school. Now, these kids are in the medical, engineering, and IT fields. So they're usually a little bit better students than some other kids, and they come to the special high school. So as opposed to hiring teachers to work at the school, they take classes from us, from the professors for most of the courses.
Nice.
And in addition to that, they can also, when they graduate high school, if they qualify, they can have an associate's degree. So you can get a dual degree. You get your associate's degree and your high school degree at the same
Wow.
time. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
So they're like 2 years ahead.
Nice.
They're on an accelerated track. So like the college professors teach them chemistry, and we do the health and wellness with them, so forth, and also they have math teachers from the college. But here I got these kids, and some of them, because they were maybe a little more academically slated, some of them are not adept at training,
Mm-hmm.
and they really don't know much about getting in shape, getting stronger, what to eat, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you, I just finished the testing. I taught 2 classes to these guys. My other 5 classes were to college students, but I taught 2 classes a semester, and weight training
Mm-hmm.
and body conditioning. And I put them through tests. We have a baseline, we have a midterm test, and we have a final exam. And they have to put all their data in, see how they test out.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, the improvement on these kids was incredible. And, there's a couple of them that I think are just going to keep training moving forward and and they're very accomplished.
Nice.
Like some of them just really took this in and really held it near and dear to their hearts and pushed forth. It's just great to see. I mean, some of these kids, they couldn't even do a push-up when they walked in, and 4 months later they're doing 8 to 10 push-ups. 8 to 10 push-ups might seem like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It might not seem like a lot, but if you could do 0 and now you can do 8 to 10,
Uh-huh.
that's a pretty good improvement. And then some of these kids, like start out with like 50 pounds on a deadlift, and then she pulled up 180. At the end of this, that's pretty darn good.
And you know this obviously more than I do, but like if you've gone from nothing and then like the first 3 weeks, you're not even using muscle, you're using like the neurological connections, right?
Yes, you're learning the motor skills that can enable you
like
to
the
perform
links,
the tasks.
the links between your brain and the muscles. Yes. So like the first 3 weeks, you're getting those connections, and then like you're going to have a big spike because you're actually using muscle now.
Right. You've learned how to execute the technique properly on a motor skill level. Nice. And you make that mind-body connection, and I mean it was just fantastic to see. Awesome. Right now as I'm speaking, I'm seeing the results, in front of me in my mind's eye. Just seeing, like, gosh, I mean, it just made me feel so good, and seeing the smile on their face when they were testing
mm-hmm.
and putting out their results. I mean, it was a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
And, another cool thing happened too. And, unless you're in New Jersey and know much about this, you might not be able to appreciate it. But the graduation from the State Police Academy is a very big deal. It's a very big deal in the state of New Jersey. It's like a big ceremony, and like, you never see a fat New Jersey State Police officer. Never. Why? Well, because they test every year. That's
this is a positive episode, right.
Phil. But we're talking positive. We're talking positive that they test every year.
Yes, so positive.
So they test every year. So guess what? They have to be in shape.
Yeah.
Okay? So I trained a couple of guys in this recent
nice.
Class.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing is they came to me a little over a year ago with 0 fight experience. None. And they came twice a week for 7 months religiously. And they went through the academy. They sailed through their DT. There were moves that I taught them
mm-hmm.
that they were the only ones that knew how to do them first out. The other guys had no idea, and
mm-hmm.
these guys were doing it because I had prepared them properly.
Yeah.
So what did they do? They took it upon themselves to get the training so they didn't go in cold. And they sailed through their DT, where some of these guys would have to go after class, like after a whole day of training, and have to go another 2 to 3 hours to learn the techniques.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys knew already. So they put in the pre-work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And their instructors were very impressed with what they were able to do, and they want to know obviously who trained them.
Absolutely.
But now the cool thing is that I got an invite to the graduation tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be
very
cool.
cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be
cool.
very, very cool.
Nice.
So here, look at all these positive things, and you know what? What does it revolve around? It revolves around having a plan. Like my state troopers had a plan.
Yeah.
Right. They executed it.
Mm-hmm.
My students, they had no idea, but I gave them the structure for the plan. So we all put together a plan, and they executed it. And look at what happened. Like my personal client, I gave him the plan. We put through. He executes it. Okay.
Yeah.
And look at the end result. So, people have to take a step back and say, "Gosh, what do I want to do?" And I can do this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's almost no reason that someone else can't get into better shape and become stronger. It's a choice, and you can do it. And the thing is that once you set this goal up, and do SMART goals. Like, look, honestly, I think it'd be cool if I could play in the NBA or the NFL. Okay, yeah, not going to happen. Okay, so putting that as a goal sets me up for failure because it's not relevant at all. I mean, it's not achievable. So you want to set your goal so something that you can achieve, and don't hold yourself back because you're going to be surprised at what you can actually do. So, if you take the martial arts, for instance, right? So you have these different belt levels, right? Because if someone sits there and says, "Gosh, I want to be a black belt," okay, great. But it's a very long, arduous road.
Oh yes.
Okay. No, I'm talking about from a real school. So it's tough to accomplish. So that's why you have these little goals in between. You get your orange belt, get a yellow belt, get a green belt, and so forth. Go up the ranks. So you have that large goal at the end, and then you have your mini goals. I would say the same thing for someone if they want to, bench press 200 pounds. Well, hey, you know what? First start with doing. My first goal is to bench 135, so I can have 2 plates on either side.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
You feel good about yourself. So then you work up from there. And these are the things that we want to impress upon people is that many of these things are not beyond your reach. And think about it. How cool would that be if you knew that you could challenge yourself and become better, stronger, faster, fitter, smarter, whatever it is? And the same thing goes for raising your intelligence level. Hey, you know what? Start reading books. Get off the stupid phone, okay, and start reading books. Or if you use your phone, learn a language.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that, if we're sitting here on the social media all the time, after 10 years of spending 3 hours a day on social media, you know what you have? Nothing. Okay. Probably a lot of agita, and maybe you've been putting
anxiety
and so forth, right? But now, if you spend 10 years, an hour a day working out, what are you gonna be like in 10 years?
Right? You're gonna be a beast.
Okay. Now, let's say you spend an hour a day reading books. You think you're gonna get right?
Yeah.
Let's say you spend an hour a day, I don't know, learn a language.
Yeah.
Maybe like 15 minutes a day in a language, a half hour in a book, half hour to an hour working out. So you're spending 2 to 3 hours, right? Improving yourself, making you a more well-rounded human being, and you're going to feel better about you. You're not going to feel better about you, sending tweets about people who, I don't know.
The positive episode.
Yeah. No, you think so?
I know.
Well, we are keeping it positive.
I know.
But you're going to get much more from picking things and accomplishing them. And the thing is, I think that so many people are afraid to put themselves out there and are afraid to take that first step. And, we had New Year's coming around. And I'm not big on the New Year's resolutions. I say, if you want something, start doing it right now. But hey, if you need that as your marker, then use it. But you know what? Set the marker now. Set the goals now.
And
then start pursuing them. And you can do this.
Yeah.
You can easily do this.
And, some people might not be into reading. Watch some YouTube videos, like listen to some podcasts, like, do an audio book. Like there's like different avenues, find what your way of learning and growing and go all in.
Some people are more visual learners.
Yeah.
Personally, I can kind of do both, but I like reading and then seeing it. I learn much better like that. Reading, doing. And there's also that the old saying is that when you really want to learn something, you learn it, you do it, you teach it. Because if you go learn, do, teach, right? So first you learn how to do it, then you actually do it, so you see what works and what doesn't work, and then you teach it, because then you get a different perspective from someone else, and you really have to know it to be able to teach it. So that's what, if you really want to learn something, you learn, you do, and then you teach, and that's how you become
master.
Exactly. That's how you master something. There's no, the best way to do it.
No, absolutely.
And that's why, master and teacher, kind of go together. But I really want to focus on just inspiring people to get out there and challenge themselves to get stronger, more fit, raise your intelligence level, challenge yourself, go out there and do it. And it's so fulfilling. And for me to see these people achieving, because, if you look at the Body Bell method, right? What do we say in that? Live better, longer. Okay. Live better, longer. Listen, some people can live a very, very long life, but how's their health? How's their mental state? Do they feel good about themselves? Are they accomplishing things? Again, I don't know that, but I know that if you have a plan and you're training properly, you have a good diet. If you can do those two things, you can work out regularly and have a good diet, that's going to be a springboard to other accomplishments. And it's also going to just propel you forward and make you feel better and make you also be aware of your accomplishments. So these are the things that we, I think, as a society, we need to focus on. Again, with all the negativity out there, and it's so easy to play into negativity, because listen, it's easier to pull someone down than it is to build them up. It's easy.
Yeah.
You could look at something, you could look at just about anyone and criticize them. Okay, but look at the good aspects of a person. Look at the good aspects of a program, and then look at the good aspects of an activity, and what positive can I gain from that? Look, if you look at and I really don't delve into religion that much, but religion's kind of on the decline in this country. There's a lot of negativity about it, and and people say, well, religions were made for control, so forth, so on. They're archaic and whatever, monolithic, all kinds of things, right? But you know what? Take from it what is good. When I go to church, I feel good. I feel good, right? I feel good when I come out. Do I agree with the church 100%? No. But do I come away with something good from it? Do I come away with a positive feeling? Do I like the community? Do I like the message? Do I like the connection with something spiritual? So again, take from the positive. Look, I'm not gonna. I know you're newlywed, and I don't want to get you in trouble. But I'm sure that that you may not like everything about your wife.
Oh yeah, we disagree on some things like TV shows.
I mean, so you're going to disagree.
Yeah.
Okay, there's not 100% of things that you're happy about, but so what? The overwhelming position is one of love and acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, if you look at politics, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at identifying one or the other, or who you identify with. Well, the problem is here is that people will say you identify with this one, and you're then they think that you embody everything that they think about it, which is an issue, right? But if you agree with like 70%, well, that's more than me agreeing with 30% with the other side. So I'm kind of forced into that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the way it is. You have to take from that whatever party you're associated with, whatever philosophy you want, and pull what you want from it. Okay? So, are there negative aspects to working out every day or every other day and eating right? Yeah, sure. I mean, you just can't have pizza and cheeseburgers every day and expect that you're going to be physically fit and your cholesterol won't be through the roof. And as you get older, it gets even more important. So, is it a pain in the neck to eat fresh vegetables and fruit every day? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But what are the upsides? The upsides are, your body getting the proper nutrients that it needs, and not filling your body with a bunch of processed garbage. So, again, maybe you don't like all of them, but it's good for you. So yeah, do what's good.
You want to do that again?
Okay, because it's good for you. So the positive message that we're trying to get out here is one of challenge yourself. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. And especially now, there's a lot of fear mongering going on with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we want to do is rise above that. And we can. We can. Humans are incredibly resilient and adaptable creatures. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, people are holding themselves back. I really feel a lot of people are holding themselves back now, especially in these times. These COVID times. People, I don't want to try that. I don't want to do that.
And they want quick fixes.
There's no quick fix.
Yeah. Pressure bust pipes and builds diamonds, right? What's the quote? Pressure
breaks pipes and creates diamonds.
Yeah.
It's like, but if you're not doing either one of those, then
yeah, you're not even trying. No diamonds will be made.
No. Pressure's going to happen. It's how you deal with it. And I'll tell you, one good way to deal with it is through exercise.
Yeah.
One of the things that if you notice that we are geared, a lot of people suffer from anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, why is that? Why is that?
Are you?
I'm asking a rhetorical question.
Yes.
I'm going to answer it. If you want to answer, go ahead.
Hey, take a guess. Well, I always say that because for instance, people who have like trouble sleeping and they have like anxiety and trouble sleeping is because their mind knows they're supposed to be doing something when they're not doing it, so it's keeping them awake.
That's definitely one thing. But let's look at us as on a more primal level.
Yeah.
Okay. As human beings, we were geared to be anxious. We were geared to be fearful of things because life was very, very dangerous. Saber-tooth tigers, right? Cave bears and all kinds of things.
Yes.
And so, we have that potential for anxiety. Mm-hmm. Now, it's there. And now, if we don't have real anxiety like that,
mm-hmm.
then we manifest our own anxiety. And that has to be released. So the anxiety that we're manifesting, if we don't release it, it's going to eat us up. Now, what's the best way to release it?
Use it in the right direction.
Working out. You go in a positive direction with it. People get that runner's high, that euphoric feeling after releasing your endorphins and creating release of serotonin modulation in your brain. And, exercise does that for you. Raising your heart rate, pumping up your body, moving your body. All of these things are going to help you to release that anxiety, or at least, bring it down. Look, you're always going to have anxiety, and we're not in a steady state. We're not meant to be in a steady state. Life is peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys. And you know what? So you deal with the garbage times and you enjoy the good times. And that's what makes life fun too.
Yeah.
Especially when you're striving for something, and you reach that goal. Like, what's better than that?
Yeah.
I'll tell you when, again, I'm just going back to these recent, just super things that have happened. I mean, I have all these students, clients. I just mentioned one, but I have a whole bunch of them like that. And of course, the guys, the cadets in the police academy, they put in a lot of work for that, a lot of sacrifice. But what happened at the end? Okay? They got their goal. They achieved their goal. They achieved the objective. And when you work for something, it's so much better. Look, that old adage. You see the spoiled kid, or the person who gets given, here's your house, or here's whatever. Do they value it? They don't have skin in the game. Once you have skin in the game, it means something. It carries more weight. I mean, so if you're putting forth and you're working hard and you're done for the day, wow, man, I feel like I did something, because, human beings need purpose. We're not supposed to, just lay around watching Netflix, drinking beer, and smoking pot. It's like we're meant for more than that. Okay.
And I played sports growing up, high school, played college and stuff like that. And there was no better feeling, like getting my conditioning in before the season started, before tryouts started, and going in at sailing through that and going through it with ease, and seeing everyone else like throw up and like cramping up, and like, there's no better feeling.
Yeah. It's funny because it's all everybody. Let's take MMA. I'm going to do a quote from Chuck Liddell.
All right.
He says, it's a preparation. Everybody wants to win when you're in a fight. Everybody wants to win when you're in a game. But you know what? The games and the fights are won in the practice before.
Yeah.
If you gas out during a fight, or if you come in out of shape and get hurt in a sport, guess what? It's because, I'll tell you what, you were a coward in training. You didn't face yourself. You didn't push yourself. You weren't prepared. So that's where it's won and lost. Everybody wants the accolades, but how many people want to embrace the challenge? But this is what we're here trying to do. Tell people, embrace the challenge. Yeah. Embrace the challenge. Challenge yourself. Believe in yourself, and you'll be able to do it. Okay. There's, again, unless you have something really physically wrong with you. But I look back at some of these inspiring stories of people that have severe disabilities. Like, I was listening to Marty Gallagher's podcast the other day, and this kid Tyler, I forget his last name. He's like 32. He's a bodybuilder now, and he does jiu-jitsu. And he was born with spina bifida, and if anybody knows what that is, it's a disease where the spine is not connected. Okay, so his legs were very small and they were bowed, and he's in a wheelchair and so forth. So he had to do quite a bit of work. His parents actually, had an operation to give an operation to fix some of the stuff, because some of the stuff could be not 100% fixed, but enable him to move better. And the guy, went into powerlifting and, made some national teams and so forth. And then he got into the jiu-jitsu because he had actually wrestled too, which, he could do that. And he was doing push-ups and challenging himself. He talked about one thing where he asked where the push-up, he was like 4th or 5th grade, asked what the push-up record was. And they said, I don't know, 30. So he did like 35. And then some other kid did like 45, and then they went back and forth. So these two guys battling and finally got to like 100 and something push-ups and so forth. Yeah. And they were going back and forth, challenging each other on this. And look what happened. From something being about 30 repetitions, it went well over 100.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that when they both saw that, did they think they could do 110 push-ups or 120 push-ups? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But what they did was they kept rising to the challenge, rising to the challenge. And this is what I want to put forth to people. Don't hold yourself back. Rise to the challenge, and you will make your own happiness. Don't rely on something else. Don't rely on a TV show or a government or even a spouse or friend to make you happy. You have to make yourself happy. And you're going to do that by a sense of accomplishment. And look, even if something's small, but it's an improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Look, maybe you're never going to be a world champion in jiu-jitsu. Who cares? But you know what? You're going to get in shape, and you're going to know how to throw a rear naked choke on somebody if you have to, right? Which is pretty cool to know.
I got something you're going to enjoy. I got something you're going to like. I came across this the other day.
Yeah.
So they did this experiments on rats or mice or whatever. They put them in little cups, and they just dropped them in cups of water, right? Now, they would give up swimming, like they would just like fall and die at 15 minutes. Okay. So if he just let them swim, they would sink to the bottom, pretty much be dead. He'd take them out. Now, if they went to the bottom and he quickly took them out, dry them off, and then put them back in, guess how long they swam? The first time they gave up and died in 15 minutes. But once they knew and had hope that they were going to get,
an hour,
60 hours.
Oh, Jesus.
So the first time they go in, they're swimming as much as they can, 15 minutes, they die. For whatever reason, they come out, he takes them out, gives them hope, like dries them off.
Yeah.
The rat knows like it's going to get saved or whatever,
right.
Or has hope. 60 hours.
Well, got a question. After the 60 hours, did he pull him back out or he let him sink and die?
I think he let them live after that.
Okay. That's kind of cruel, man.
Right?
He's a rat, but still, it's pretty cruel.
Hours.
That's nuts.
15 minutes. So like, that just saying like you can go further. You can endure the pain. Like, put the work in. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows, but
it's funny. There's also another experiment that had to do with fear.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was they did an experiment with a rat, and every time the rat pushed the lever,
mm-hmm.
they would get a pellet.
Mm-hmm.
So then they did that for a while, and then they decided to shock the lever every fourth time. So the rat would go and hit the lever
mm-hmm.
and get a pellet, and then one out of every four they'd shock. You know what the rats did? They stopped hitting the lever, and they all starved to death.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is kind of what's happening right now because people are afraid.
Mm-hmm.
They're afraid of what might happen, and they don't want to go through a little bit of pain to get where they want to go. So, knowing this, being equipped with this knowledge
mm-hmm.
that there may be a little bit of pain, but hey, you're going to live and you're going to prosper. You're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we have to deal with that, deal with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay? And I know we had a whole episode on becoming uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, once you embrace that, and also if you have to be uncomfortable and you make it to a goal, you achieve something, you cherish that more.
Yeah.
You cherish that. So you're going to hold on to it. I mean, there's many, many times I said, gosh, I worked hard. I'm not going to eat that chocolate cake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because I worked too hard and I don't want to pour that into my system. Yeah. And then there are special occasions when you will do that, but I'm not doing it every day, not even doing it every week, maybe not even every month. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And put that in perspective too. Like we live in the best time period right now. As of all of history, we live in the best time period, right?
Yes.
There's people who don't have fresh water, don't have food, and you can't not eat a piece of cake. You know what I mean? There are people who are like literally drinking like poop water and like don't even have, they have to run, like to walk like 7 miles to get water, or like they don't have food, or they don't have a roof over their head, and you can't not eat the cake.
Yeah. See, this is, it's, well, we're going to stay positive.
All right, yeah. Just put it in perspective. Like when you're about to eat that cake, like that could be poop water. Like you had it good. You got it good. So the little bit of endurance, the little bit of pain in perspective, like come on.
Well, it's about sacrifice and what you're willing to sacrifice. And the thing is that if we're not taught to do that, if we don't condition ourselves to do that, we will not. Because just think about this too. Just like water, people travel the path of least resistance. And we're actually, that actually is what's enabled us to move forward and progress, is seeking the path of least resistance in order to have an easier life. Here, you look at deer. Right? You look at the white-tailed deer. They travel along the same path. Okay, they don't generally just run through the woods unless they're running from something. They follow a trail or a path. Why do they do that? Because it's got the least resistance on it. It's a path that they know, and it's an easy route for them. So they do that again because it's easier, the path of least resistance. You look at water. Water will take the path of least resistance. People will take the path of least resistance. And if we don't have this resistance, okay, then you become weaker. Look at the difference in strength between a bass in a pond and a bass in a river. Now, which one do you think is going to be stronger?
Bass in the river.
Right. Why is that? Why is that? Because it's fighting the current the whole time. The bass in the pond is just kind of chilling there, floating around, right? Eating a frog or a fish every so often, they fall in, right? But the bass in the river has to face that current all the time. So they're going to become a lot stronger. And the thing is that when we don't have this resistance to face, we have to go out and seek this resistance. Look, any of us could go along without ever doing anything physical. Can you imagine that?
I mean,
people do it. There are a lot of people that do nothing physical, and you can get along just fine in life without doing a physical act at all. What are the downsides? I mean, please, we know them.
You might cut your time short.
Exactly. But you can survive. You can get through life without doing anything physical. But now, what if it comes a time when you have to do something physical? You're not going to be able to do it. Or what about when it comes to time when you have to exercise a discipline on eating and so forth, or you have a task to complete, or God forbid, we get hit with an EMP and everything shuts down, right? You're not going to be prepared to do it. Okay? So this is when people become soft. Right? And again, listen, you don't have to be a UFC fighter, a Navy SEAL, airborne ranger, NFL football player, whatever. You don't have to do any of that. If you do, God bless you, it's good. But you can challenge yourself. It's one thing I really just enjoy seeing regular people, especially the younger kids, when they realize that they can do the sit-ups, the push-ups, the squats. They can do a bench, a deadlift, and a squat. They can actually do that and see progression and witness their own strength. Do you know how empowering that is?
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you're someone who can't do a push-up and then you work at it, and at the end of the year, you're banging out 50, 60 push-ups. But you're going to feel pretty good about yourself, and you're going to look pretty good. I mean, I don't see too many people who can bang out 60 push-ups and they don't look good. Right? I mean, you got to put a lot of work in there to bang out 60 in a row, and you're probably going to look pretty good.
This is a good point. And with the New Year's and everything, how important it is, because like you said, like you're not joining the NFL, the NBA, right? So how important is it to, like, you go, say you want a New Year's resolution, you want to go to the gym and you want to start the year strong. Don't kill yourself in the first time. You're going to hate it. You're not going to go back. Do 2 push-ups, walk a mile, come back the next day. Yeah.
Right, call it a day. Hey,
like, have little wins.
Yes, those little wins. Little wins are what get those incremental successes. Okay. And the cool thing about an incremental success is this: if you fail, it's not that big of a failure. It's a small failure. So you readjust and you go back at it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm actually going to be discussing this in my next upcoming book, which I'll probably finish over the summer. I just don't have the time right now to do it. And what I'm going to stress in this is never fail a rep. So what do you mean never fail a rep? Well, I never want to have a failed rep, because a couple reasons. One is that if you're working out by yourself, if you fail a rep, you could die.
Yeah, you're dead.
Okay, you could die. So that's kind of a big incentive right there.
Yep.
But the other thing is this: if you never fail a rep, what are the chances of you getting injured?
Well, you never fail. Well, I would say like 10%.
It minimizes it.
Yeah.
It minimizes it. It because if I'm never going to complete failure, I'm not completely exhausted. If it's not completely exhausted, that's when most of the time you get hurt.
Yeah, I was thinking like this.
Yeah. When you're completely exhausted, that's when you are more susceptible to injury, because everything kind of goes out the window. But if you never fail a rep, you're always going to build on it. And some days you have to be able to feel your own body. Like I was deadlifting the other day, and I've shifted it to a day earlier because I had to with my schedule. And you know what? I didn't feel like I could get the heavier weight at the higher reps. So I cut back on it. You have to know your own body. So you don't want to fail a rep, because if you're doing, especially like you're doing something like deadlift or benching or squatting and you're by yourself, I mean, something bad is going to happen to you. Same thing with you're doing a get up with a kettlebell. If you fail on that, I mean, you could get hurt. Okay, so you never want to fail a rep, and that's always going to have you succeeding. And you know what your body's going to remember? It's going to remember the positive end of the rep, of the set, or of the workout, because you will have succeeded at it. So your body, the last movement will not be a failed movement. It will be a successful movement. And look, let's say most of the time you should only work out about 70 to 80%, maybe 85%. Because, let's say you can do 10 pull-ups, right? That's your max, 10 pull-ups. What do 9 and 10 look like?
Struggling.
Yes. They generally don't look
like a pull-up.
Right. It doesn't look like you're just getting over that bar somehow, right? So what is your body going to remember?
That struggle.
Right. So now if I know that if I have clean form all the way up, okay, and the other thing is, if I'm completely exhausted after a workout, how's my workout going to be tomorrow?
Yeah, it's going to be it's
going to be tough, right?
Tough.
And what if I work out to exhaustion on Monday, exhaustion on Tuesday? What's going to happen to me Wednesday?
You're exhausted.
And how's my workout going to be?
Not going to be good.
Not going to be good. But I'll tell you what, if I go maybe 85% Monday, 75% Tuesday, and 80% on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
You can do that. You can do that because you're not at 100% every day.
And you're training your mentality, regardless of physical. Your mentality now is you're always winning. You're always being successful, rather than what most people are. They're training every time they train, they're failing because they're going till failure. So they're just losing or
Right.
failing every day,
Yeah.
where you could be winning and building that confidence. Success.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I'm going to be emphasizing in the book. Being successful in your reps, never fail a rep. And I know that, and I'll tell you, some of these guys have used this philosophy in powerlifting too, because then when they go into a competition, if you're used to not failing a rep in practice, the body kind of doesn't know how to fail. You know what I mean? So you know where you're going to be at, and it helps them be successful in the competition as well.
Yeah.
And there's some philosophies where some trainers advocate even doing a lower RPE, rate of perceived exertion, where like 70% or 75%. I think someday I think it's best to cycle it, where some days I'll be up, 85, maybe 90, depends what I'm doing. And then maybe I'll do another day up around that, and then I'll drop it down to 70, and then move it up, and then maybe take a day off. Okay. So this is what's going to give you that longevity, and also keep promoting what? Success.
Yeah.
If I know I can throw, 50 good kicks each leg, and then I try to do 100, how are those last kicks going to look? Okay, they're going to look like garbage. Okay, so the thing is that what you have to do is find this balance, though, because you have to adapt. The body is not going to change, or you're not going to progress unless you force adaptation. So you have to push yourself a certain level in order to make the body respond to that. So that's the fine line that you have to go through.
Yeah.
That you have to find it. And you know what? It's a moving target, and everybody's a little bit different. The difference may be, when you're doing, may have a difference. A person may have a difference in doing their weight training and their cardio. They may have differences of what their best RPE is and their best way to improve and adapt. So these are all things that have to come into consideration. That's why it's good to log your workouts too. So you write it down, or put on your smartphone or whatever you're going to do, and you keep a record of it. I like to write it down. I keep journals. I have some journals that are. I have one from when I was 13 years old.
Wow.
I know what I was bench pressing. Okay? I had my workouts there, and I used to do from my jumping jacks, arm circles, whatever it was. I have all that stuff recorded, so I know what my baseline is, and it's important to know where you were and where you're going. So if we're going to leave anyone with a message, it's a message of positivity. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself, because you will not be disappointed. So you know what? Pick something, get a plan, employ SMART goals, right? So you want to be specific. I know we have a whole episode on SMART goals, but I'm just going to recap it real quick because it's very applicable here. SMART goals. SMART, specific. Be specific in your goal. Just don't say, "Oh, I want to lose weight." Okay, so what? How many pounds you want to lose? Right? And it's measurable. Okay, I want to lose 10 pounds. Okay, that's specific, measurable. I can measure it with a scale, right? Attainable. Is that attainable? Yeah, it's attainable. I want to do it in 2 months. Is that doable? Yes, it's time-based. So all these are together, right? Now, let's say I make that goal. You know what I want to do? I want to make a smarter goal now. So I'm going to evaluate, and then I'm going to reassign and reassess. Okay. So I've reached my one goal, or maybe I failed it for whatever reasons. So I have to look back on it, and I'm going to employ a smarter goal. So these are the things that you want to take the time to do, and make yourself accountable. Okay. Make yourself accountable.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that it's good that people get a a membership to more of like a class thing than just going to the gym. Some people do great at the gym. Most people fail miserably.
Because you're not accountable to anyone.
Right.
Yeah, I'll do this.
Yeah.
This feels good. I'll call it a day.
Right.
Not accountable to
But
anybody.
if you have to go to a class and you got somebody up there telling you to do something, or you're in a some other type of group where you have a training partner or a couple training partners, you train together, a team, you're accountable to each other. So you have skin in the game. You're accountable, and that helps you too, and you're committed. And the other thing is, like, if you get a membership at one of these cheapo gyms, the McDonald's gyms or whatever, or the no grunting gym, then it's like $20 a month or $10 a month. And you're like, it's only $20 a month, and you just don't go. That's not going to help you. Okay. Because it's not, you don't have that much skin in the game. Okay? But if you know that, hey, I know I got to take this class. Now, listen, if the inexpensive gym offers classes, well, it's great, because now you have this, and that's going to inspire you to work out because you want to do well in your class. So it's kind of like a win-win there.
Use your extra money, get some nice protein shakes.
There you go. So, these are the things that that are going to help people be successful. And, if more people are successful in this, it's going to help out a lot. It's going to help out a lot with people's moods, with people's physical as well as mental health. And again, it's just going to help, people live better longer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's, it's one of the messages we want to get forth, And, we do have to thank our sponsors.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we have to thank Bell Method. Right? Don't forget about the certifications. We're going to be doing a certification in Rye, New York on the 22nd of January. And that's at Trinity Fitness with my boy Mike Doty, his group over there. We have our NASM and ACE certifications all renewed. Okay. And I'm also getting the process of getting the online version certified with NASM as well. Nice. So that's in process, and it's already certified by ACE, and that's renewed. Now, all this is good for 2022. So it's all paid up, guys. So 2022 is good. We also have philross.com. And we have to look out for a new site coming out, right?
Yeah.
We're going to revamp things. We have the online training available there. We also have some of the products by Dragon Door, which we have the Neuro Grips are back in, which those are pretty awesome. And they're shipping kettlebells too. So nice. It's good to know. And do we have anything else to promote? I mean,
pretty much a lot of everything is on philross.com. So
right.
there's a lot of things you want to check out, especially like the Bell method, because you could, in your own home with the Bell, if you're worried about COVID or whatever, you can be doing all this stuff at home.
Oh, we also have the Kettlebell Workout Library. We have the Secrets of Kettlebells. Have all of those. Also have the Burn Along. That's it's another app that I'm one of the featured instructors on it. So they're doing pretty well. They're doing some cool stuff.
There's no excuse.
No excuse. So either go online or go in person.
Yeah. And if you need help, contact Master Phil.
Yeah.
Go to philross.com, send him an email, and he'll tell you what to do.
All right, guys. So I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and a great holiday season. And let's embrace 2022 and let's make a difference in ourselves and the world.
I like it.
Strength and honor.
Thanks for watching our holiday episode
of
Master Phil in your corner.